Thank you.
Well, that was very kind of Mr. Grinch.
Oh, this will be
Awesome.
interesting.
That is so cool.
Oh, Mr. Cassell. Oh, have you been good this year?
It depends on who you ask.
You got to tell the truth, huh?
This is going south.
But what do I have
What
for
do you
you here?
Control.
Okay. Excuse me with this one. Oh. Mr. Goodell, you've been saving this all year.
We have lost control.
Oh, there it is. I got it. I found it. Oh, there it is. This, you know what this is? It's a representation. If you're naughty, what do you get from Santa? Oh, but that's not for you. That's for the gentleman who didn't come tonight. So, for you, I have. And this will bring you a lot of wisdom, just like it has every other council person. Here's a pencil.
Okay.
So if you make a mistake, you can always erase it. Oh, we're not done. And who might you be, sir? My friend. I'm trying to find all my clips. Anyway, I'll get back to you. There we go. That was over there. No, I mean, Dan, you might get. That one goes to the mayor, right? Hold on. I thought we were all in Whoville, don't we? All that technology. But I'd just like to tell y'all, Pinellas Park, we got some residents. Hello. We got some residents in Whoville that want to come down here. But we're not really sure how to do it. We're building condos. But you know what? Everybody needs a place to live. So I'm hoping I'll get one of those condos.
Yeah.
I might even get one in the Fifth Third Bank. But you all have a blessed night, and this is Claus.
I have some people I want you to meet.
On that.
Yeah, come here. Meet these fine officers over
Yes, sir. I'm going.
Well, he had good intentions, and that's what happens when you come to Pinellas Park. It just turns people who are one way to really good people, and that's what we have. Much like the person that I was talking about. I got all these reindeer that are a lot more popular than our city manager, Mr. Barnes. That's yeah. But anyway, so as I thought about, we need some extra help at the North Pole, and I thought about, well, maybe I'd be able to use him at the North Pole, and he would help Santa because he's so happy and he's so energizing. And but you know, he's been married to his wife Lori for 35 years, and I'm not so sure that she would want to live in the North Pole because it's really cold. And he has two amazing daughters, one of them being Erica and one of them being Rachel. And I'm not too sure I'd be able to steal him from them either, because I hear that it's a really good family, and they probably all, we will offer everybody jobs, though. I mean, hey, it is the North Pole, but I get it. Why would you want to leave such an awesome city as Pinellas Park? And, I kept trying to figure out what his name is because all I hear is he's called Randy the mail clerk. You even call his phone and it's Randy the mail clerk. And all the time I'm like, well, and every reindeergram said Randy the mail clerk. So this year for the Staying Awake Award, I'm going to get to present Randy the mail clerk with this. And his real name is Randy White. And if his family wants to come up and take a picture, would be really awesome. So thank you. Yeah, thank you for being like an incredible person. Everybody in the entire world just thinks you're simply amazing, and that you just go above and beyond. And everything we saw, and everybody said, no matter what, you just bring happiness to everybody.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
So, and you have an amazing family, I hear, that are just right there.
It's easy to be happy every day when you have a loving wife and great kids like I have. And
Do what? The plaque says, the third annual Patty Reed Staying Awake Award goes to Randy White, Randy the mail clerk White. And this is the memorial edition for Patricia Johnson. Thank you guys. And we all know that behind every great, amazing man is an amazing woman.
That's definitely the case here. It's easy to be happy every day. When you wake up every day and this lady is right beside you, you know it's going to be a good day. So it's easy to smile. It's easy to be happy.
Do not know about the
I just don't know which seat is mine. Thank you.
And I am so sorry about the Grinch.
It's okay. It seems like Canal Park turned it around a little bit.
At this time, we open the city council meeting to any citizens that would like to come up and ask any questions of city council or staff, except for the Grinch, before we go on to the rest of the council meeting. So is there anybody that has any questions? Seeing none. We do have one item that is quasi-judicial that is on our consent agenda. So just in case anybody wants to speak about that, I will ask for staff, and there's a person there that would like to speak on the quasi-judicial item to please stand and be sworn in.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to section 2, approval of minutes. I usually turn it over to Councilmember Butler, who is not able to make it this evening. So, Councilmember Cadell, would you like to take over doing that this evening, please?
Motion to approve the minutes. I make a motion that we approve the regular council minutes of November 21st, 2023, as on file in the city clerk's office.
Thank you. Do I have a second? Maybe Mrs. Claus can second. Thank you so much. All those in favor? Aye.
Motion carries unanimously.
Moving on to section 3, public hearings, item P1.
Item P1 is ordinance number 4233, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Pinellas Park, Pinellas County, Florida, amending the city's official land use plan map by providing land use designation of residential urban RU for certain lands generally located at 12240 Land Street, and more particularly described in Exhibit A, which is attached here to and made a part hereof, certifying consistency with the city's adopted comprehensive plan, providing for repeal of ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith to the extent of such conflict, providing for an effective date.
Thank you. Item P1, ordinance number 4233, is public hearing. Second and final reading. I am opening the public hearing and turning it over to Tiffany.
Hi, I'm Tiffany Menard, and I will be presenting case number LUPA 0923-00021. The request is for a future land use map amendment designating a parcel as residential urban at 12236 and 12240 Land Street. This is the subject property. The subject property is currently designated residential urban in the county. The request is to designate it residential urban upon annexation. The subject property was zoned residential mobile / manufactured home RMH in the county. Upon annexation, the property will be designated manufactured home subdivision district T1. The subject parcel is located in flood zone X, which is a low risk flood zone. And these are some photos of the site. Findings: the RU future land use designation has been determined to be the most appropriate for this property, and the request is consistent with the Land Development Code and the goals, objectives, and policies of the adopted comprehensive plan. Staff recommends approval of case number LUPA 0923-00021. On November 2nd, 2023, the Planning and Zoning Commission recommended approval of this case with the condition that AX-2023-00017 be approved by City Council. And this annexation was approved by City Council on November 21st, 2023. Thank you, and I'm available for questions as well as the applicant.
Thank you. Does the City Council have any questions of Tiffany? I'm already calling Mrs. Claus City Council. Is there anybody in the audience that has any questions on this item? Applicant would like to add anything to what Tiffany has spoken about? See a no. Councilmember Sabel?
Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry to wait for your approval.
Thank you. Seeing none in the audience that would like to speak, I'm going to close the public hearing and entertain a motion by Councilmember Seville.
Yes, Mayor, thank you. I'd like to make a motion to pass ordinance number 4233, public hearing, second and final reading.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously.
Moving on to item P2.
Item P2 is ordinance number 4234, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Pinellas Park, Pinellas County, Florida, amending the Code of Ordinances by amending Chapter 18 Land Development Code pertaining to accessory use and supplementary district regulations, amending Section 18-1502.2 to add definitions, amending Section 18-1530 to add a subsection pertaining to dogs in designated outdoor dining areas, to establish an outdoor dog dining permit application fee in the city's administrative fee schedule, providing for the inclusion of such amended ordinance in the code of the City of Pinellas Park, Florida, providing for severability, providing for an effective date.
Thank you. Item P2, ordinance number 4234 is public hearing, second and final reading. I'm opening the public hearing and turning it over to Erica.
Good evening, City Council and Mrs. Claus. I am Erica Lindquist, Planning and Development Services Director, presenting case number LDC 1024-00001, dogs in designated outdoor dining areas. Some background: the Florida statutes grants the city the authority to allow dog dining at public food service establishments. But per the state statute, the food service establishment must receive a permit from the city before dogs are allowed on the premises. So our request tonight is an ordinance establishing the city's requirements to allow patrons' dogs within certain designated outdoor areas of public food service establishments. And just a summary of the ordinance: there will be a new subsection added to the Land Development Code. entitled Dogs in Designated Outdoor Dining Areas, along with 2 new definitions. And one is outdoor dining area, and that is any outdoor area that's part of a public food service establishment where chairs, benches, tables, or other accommodations are provided for customers of the public food service establishment. And the definition of public food service establishment would be a restaurant, tavern, lounge, brewery, microbrewery, micro winery, or micro distillery as defined in this section of the code. All of the requirements of 509.233 Florida statutes are included in the ordinance, and those are things such as hand washing, cleaning the area, having dogs on leashes. The permitted zoning districts would be any zoning district that allows restaurants, taverns, lounges, breweries, microbreweries, micro wineries, and or micro distilleries, and it would be an accessory use. Application requirements would be we're proposing a $100 one-time fee, and the applicant would have to submit a diagram and description of the designated outdoor area and the hours that that area would be open to dogs. Expiration, revocation of permits. Permits would expire automatically upon the sale of the food service establishment and can't be transferred to a subsequent owner. A permit may be revoked if, after notice, the food service establishment fails to comply with any condition of approval or with the approved diagram, or fails to maintain any required state or local license, or is found to be in violation of any provision of Section 18-1530.30. And violations. Any violation may be cited as a local ordinance violation pursuant to the city's land development code. And those violations shall, upon conviction thereof in a court of competent jurisdiction, be punished by a fine of up to $500. And staff recommends approval of this case. On November 2nd, the Planning and Zoning Commission also recommended approval. Thank you. I'm here for questions.
The city council or Mrs. Claus have any questions for Eric?
I have one question.
Yes, sir.
On your violations page, where are we putting the dog in jail?
Just assuming maybe he committed a violation.
Is there anybody in the audience that has any questions on this item? Seeing none, I will close the public hearing and entertain a motion by Mrs. Claus.
I just love animals. I have to do it. I make a motion that we pass ordinance number 4234, public hearing, second and final reading.
Second Mrs. Claus's motion.
Motion has been made in second. All those in favor? Aye.
Motion carries unanimously.
That is an amazing ordinance.
We get on the good list now.
Yes.
Moving on to item P3, resolution 23-23.
Resolution number 23-23, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Pinellas Park, Pinellas County, Florida, approving the Consolidated Annual Performance Evaluation Report, CAPR, with the addition of public comments, authorizing staff to submit the report to the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development, providing for an effective date.
Thank you. Item P3, or resolution number 23-23's public hearing, first and final reading. I am opening the public hearing and turning it over to Tammy Hillier.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm Tammy Hillier, the Community Services Manager, and I will be presenting Resolution 23-23. It is the city's Community Development Block Grant Consolidated Annual Performance and Evaluation Report, known as the CAPR. It is required by the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development and must be submitted to their offices within 90 days of the close of a program year. The program year 2022 CAPER evaluates the city's use of our CDBG program funds from October 1, 22 through September 30, 2023, and it is the report that enables HUD to assess Pinellas Park's performance in achieving its consolidated plan goals. To summarize key points throughout the program year, we did submit substantial amendments to cancel CDBG funding for the Youth Park project. As you may remember, that project had to be canceled when we received state appropriation funding, and HUD deemed that project regional, not neighborhood. We had to do a sub-amendment for that. So it put us behind a little bit in spending. Engineering and design began on the Harmony Heights project during program year 2022, and we are already almost to the halfway point on that, but we could not report on that until next year. And CDBG funds were expended during this year in the amounts as follows: $76,237.50 for Harmony Heights and $42,588.40 for planning and administration. There are key sections in the CAPER that your attention may have been drawn to. Section CR05 was construction of sidewalks and paving in the Harmony Heights neighborhood, started after the close of the program year and are not reflected in this report. Section CR20, Pinellas Park households seeking affordable housing assistance receive referrals to the Pinellas County Housing Authority, as our CDBG funding is not high enough to afford that program at this time. Section CR25, CDBG and CDBG-CV funds were not utilized for homeless outreach. However, the city does use local funds to support agencies that provide these outreach services. And Section CR58, the city did not implement any projects that required Section 3. Staff recommends approval of Resolution 2323. And I blacked out. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there anybody in the audience that has any questions on item P3? Seeing none, I will close the public hearing and entertain a motion by Councilmember Cadell.
Mayor, make a motion that we adopt Resolution 23-23, public hearing, first and final reading.
Second the motion.
Motion has been made and second. All of those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously.
Moving on to item P4, resolution number 23-22.
Resolution number 23-22, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Pinellas Park, Pinellas County, Florida, authorizing substantial amendments to the city's approved program year 2019 Community Development Block Grant, CDBG Action Plan, amending the allocation priorities for the use of Community Development Block Grant coronavirus funds, providing for an effective date.
Thank you. Item P4, resolution number 23-22's public hearing, first and final reading. I am opening the public hearing and turning it over to Tammy Hilliard.
Thank you, Mayor. Resolution 2322 is regarding substantial amendments that staff are making to the CDBG 2019 action plan, specifically addressing the coronavirus funding that the city received during program year 2019. The use of and a sub-amendment is required when the use of funds change from one eligible activity to another, or a decision is made to make a change in the allocation priorities or a change in the method of distribution of funds. The proposed substantial amendments that are currently written into the plan and we are changing, canceling housing counseling and reallocating $40,000 to planning and administration, canceling homeless outreach and reallocating $150,000 between the HVAC UV replacement at the senior center and planning and administration. Adjustment to increase planning and administration from 0 to 100,236. An adjustment to increase HVAC UV from 376,199 to 465,963. In summary, housing counseling is being canceled due to a lack of community response. There were 0 respondents to our program. Homeless outreach is being canceled due to service providers having difficulty meeting the CDBG-CV programmatic guidelines and eligibility criteria. Planning and administration costs are being added to cover the engineering costs for design of the HVAC UV project at the senior center, and the HVAC UV total estimated project cost is being increased due to material and labor cost increases throughout the industry. Staff recommends approval of Resolution 23-22. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilmember Seville?
Yes, if you would go to your proposed substantial amendment sheets. The adjustment, the third one down, adjustments to increase planning administrator from $0 to $100,000.
Right. So
Explain that to me.
the
please.
0, because we were using planning and admin out of our regular CDBG funding, with the CV funding, we had that in the plan currently is 0. The reason for increasing it to that amount is in the event when we finish the engineering and design of the HVAC systems, in the event that it is proven to not be cost effective, HUD would recover the money. They would not allow program money to be spent. In order to make sure the city does not have to pay back the funding, if we put that in planning and admin, it is considered a planning expense and it will be covered. So,
And that
Yeah,
was
legal.
the difference between the
So-
two fees.
right, so that 100,000 is actually going into the HVAC project. It is about a $500,000 project. But in the event we come back and we say to, or HUD finds it not to be cost feasible, if we paid for the engineer and design study with planning money, it counts as a planning activity. It will not count as a program activity. That was it was recommended we do it that way by a HUD-funded consultant.
Yeah, it just seems very strange to me.
Yes, sir, it very much is.
All right. That's why we have an attorney. Thank you.
Is there anybody in the audience that has any questions on this item? Seeing none, I will close the public hearing and entertain a motion. Mrs. Claus?
Thank you. I make a motion that we adopt resolution number 23-22.
Thank you. Do I have a second? I have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you. Moving on to section 4, our consent agenda items, C1.
Item C1 is resolution number 23-24, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Pinellas Park, Florida, calling for a general election to be held on March 19th, 2024, in accordance with ordinance number 4217, for the purpose of electing one council member for seat number 3 and for a 4-year term, and one council member for seat number 4 for a 4-year term, approving an agreement with the Pinellas County Supervisor of Elections and authorizing the city clerk to sign the same, directing the city clerk to give notice of such general election, providing for the city clerk to serve as the city's designated representative at the logic and accuracy testing of the ballot counting equipment and the counting of absentee ballots, providing for an effective date. Item C2 is resolution number 23-25, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Pinellas Park, Pinellas County, Florida, describing the form of the ballot to be used in the forthcoming 2024 general election of the City of Pinellas Park, Florida, to be held on Tuesday, March 19th, 2024, for the purpose of electing one council member for seat number 3 for a 4-year term and one council member for seat number 4 for a 4-year term, providing for an effective date. Item C3 is resolution number 23-26, resolution of the City Council of the City of Pinellas Park, Pinellas County, Florida, adopting the National Institute of Standards and Technology Cybersecurity Framework as the cybersecurity standard for the City of Pinellas Park, Florida, providing for an effective date. Item C4 is ordinance number 4235, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Pinellas Park, Pinellas County, Florida, amending section 1, 2, 6, 7, and 10 of ordinance number 4213, an appropriation and tax levy ordinance of the City of Pinellas Park, providing for repeal of all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith, providing for severability, providing for an effective date. Item C5 is authorization to purchase ammunition totaling $25,891 from Florida Bullet Incorporated using the funds from the confiscated property fund. Item C6 is to approve the reappointment of John Spagnolia to serve on the Code Enforcement Board for a 3-year term to expire December 31st, 2026. Item C7 is to approve the reappointment of Marianne Capoza to serve on the Code Enforcement Board for a 3-year term to expire December 31st, 2026. Item C8 is to approve the reappointment of Susan Boyd to serve on the Code Enforcement Board for a 3-year term to expire December 31st, 2026. Item C9 is to approve the selection of City Council member Keith Spiel to serve on the Evaluation Committee for review and evaluation of proposals for RFP 23009 pertaining to water tower rehabilitation. Item C10 is authorization to purchase under the Florida Sheriff's Association contract one Thompson mobile pump for Public Works Sewer Department from Thompson Pump at a cost of $73,598. Item C11 is authorization for purchase under City of Clearwater contract for a manhole rehabilitation and replacement, and those services will be provided by Roland Incorporated in an amount of $100,400.54. Item C12 is authorization for approval and acceptance of change order number 1 for Harmony Heights sidewalks provided by Keystones Excavators Incorporated for a total adjusted contract amount of $1,812,324. Item C13 is authorization for the city manager to negotiate with the firms recommended by the Evaluation Committee in order of preference as recommended for professional services in RFQ 23/004. Item C14 is authorization to award bid 23/001 for 37th Street culvert repair to Tim Group Building and General Contractor in an amount of $372,000. Item C15 is authorization for the mayor to sign a joinder and consent to the Second Amendment to Declaration of Covenants, Easements, and Restrictions for Artistry at Park Station. Item C16 is authorization for the mayor to sign a state-funded grant agreement with the State of Florida Department of Transportation, FDOT, for the Pinellas Park Pine Brook Safety Project. Item C17 is authorization for the mayor to sign an amendment to a drainage and emergency access easement with 28th Street North Industrial Properties, LLC, and Gateway Center Property Owners Association, Incorporated. Item C18 is ordinance number 4236, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Pinellas Park, Pinellas County, Florida, adopting a master plan and supporting documentation for a commercial planned unit development CPUD overlay with underlying general commercial B1 zoning on 4.10 acres of land generally located on parcel number 223016303740000301 and more particularly described in Exhibit A, which is attached hereto and made a part hereof, certifying consistency with the city's adopted comprehensive plan, providing for repeal of ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith to the extent of such conflict, providing for an effective date. Item C19 is ordinance number 4237, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Pinellas Park, Pinellas County, Florida, amending the city's official land use plan map by providing for a change in the land use from residential low, RL, to residential urban, RU, for certain lands generally located at 11052 58th Street North, and more particularly described in Exhibit A, which is attached hereto and made a part hereof, certifying consistency with the city's adopted comprehensive plan, providing for repeal of ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith to extend such conflict, providing for an effective date. Item C20 is ordinance number 4238, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Pinellas Park, Pinellas County, Florida, amending the city's official zoning map by providing for a change in the zoning district from single-family residential R3 to single-family residential R2 for a certain parcel of land located at 11052 58th Street North, and more particularly described in Exhibit A, which is attached hereto and made a part hereof, certifying consistency with the city's adopted comprehensive plan, providing for repeal of ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith to the extent of such conflict, providing for an effective date. Item C21 is authorization for the City of Pinellas Park to accept a utility easement from OSI 10280 HW LLC for property located at 10290 US Highway 19 North. And item C22 is authorization for the mayor to accept a general warranty deed for the real property for public right-of-way at 5619 Park Boulevard North from Roger B. Broderick. That concludes tonight's consent agenda.
Thank you. And from what I understand, Mrs. Claus is ready to make a motion for that.
Yes, ma'am, Madam Mayor. Regarding the consent agenda, I would like to make a motion to pass, approve, or adopt whichever action is appropriate. Items C1 through C22, inclusive with items C4, C18, C19, and C20. Being first reading prior to public hearing, and items C1, C2, and C3 being first and final reading. The next public hearing will be held in council chambers on Thursday, January 11th, 2024 at 6 p.m.
Second the motion.
Motion's been made and second. Any discussion by city council on these items? Seeing none. Is there anybody in the audience that has any questions on items C1 through 22? Seeing none. All those in favor? Aye.
Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you. We do not have any regular agenda items. So we're moving on to section 6, comments from city council. Councilmember Siddell.
Yes, Mayor, thank you. You know, everybody knows this time of the year, the season, you know, it's supposed to be a happy, joyful time, but, you know, there's a lot of people out there that it's really stressing out. A lot of people going through difficult times and stuff. And I would just hope that whenever we get the opportunity to be kind to somebody, to help someone, like seeing those kids in the parade get beads or get a bicycle, it was just amazing. But, you know, the kids expect gifts and stuff, but, you know, the adults, you know, we just need to reach out and be kind to one another and try to have a little bit more patience with people. It's like the Grinch once said, Christmas isn't about what comes from the stores. It's about what comes from the heart and how you treat other people. Yeah, that's all I got. I wish everybody a Merry Christmas. And thanks, staff, for everything they do.
Thank you, sir.
What'd you say, huh?
Mrs. Ross.
Well, I wanted to say thank you again for allowing me to come and visit this wonderful town again. And even though the Grinch came in, but maybe he has a nice saying that is very well put to use. But I do enjoy this town very much, and I do see a lot throughout the year. And just because it's Christmas, you know, just remember, check on your neighbors, and always remember somebody may be having a worse day than you. So if somebody's having a moment and you can help them out of that moment, don't take it personal, and just remember to help them. And you know, there's a lot of things coming, and I know that your Miss Lana is going to tell everybody what's going on throughout from here till whenever. But you know, get out and kind of help your neighbors and just do some extra things this year. And thank you again for letting me be a part of this amazing village you guys have.
Councilmember Goodell.
I think it's all been said. I agree with everything that that Councilman Seville and Mrs. Claus has said tonight. I also want to wish everyone Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and thank our staff, as we always try to do, for the great job that they've done in making our city the place that it is.
Absolutely. Down at the city clerk's area? Anything? We're good. We're good. Miss Lana, what do we got going on?
Well, I do want to remind everybody that the city offices and library are closed Friday, December 22nd, and of course, Monday, December 25th. And then they're also closed in observance of New Year's Day, January 1st. So that's just a reminder for everyone. And January will start the new 2024 PAC season. So we have a great lineup. First concert will be Elvis. We do have a matinee on that one that isn't sold out yet. Outside of that, I do know we have a holiday hayride, and I'll let Heidi talk about that.
Okay.
But Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Are we going to have the fourth Saturday art walk?
Fourth Saturday art walk.
Okay. Nick, love the glasses.
Thank you. Slade waiting out there. Very consistent.
Staff?
Lana's right. There is a holiday hayride tomorrow night at the Senior Center, pending any inclement weather. On Saturday, our group is also helping with Shop with a Cop, which should be a great time for families. And then we are also making plans to have the Patty Johnson Farm open for visitors during the holiday break from school. So we're looking forward to it. Thank you.
Wonderful. Hey, Sharon, love the hat. Dan? No? Tell the Kiwanians thank you for helping the Teamworks group out. Appreciate that. Chiefs?
Hey, who can speak upon Shop with a Cop for 2 seconds? Cassidy, maybe, or you want to do it? Well, you don't even have to speak upon it. But Dan K, would you please come up here? Dan has something to present to you for Shop with a Cop. He's typically known as the Grinch sometimes around here, maybe, gloom and doom, but he's actually bringing gifts tonight, so it's kind of nice. Don't cash this money or don't use this money anywhere, but
Dan takes care of our budget, and he makes sure that the city is very tight and frugal with our money, but he also is a wonderful Kiwanian, so take it over, sir.
Thank you. Kiwanis appreciates the police and fire department in our city, and we really like the Shop with a Cop program, so we have donated $500 toward it, which the accounting department has. And I also have a check from Ed Taylor's funeral home for $500 for Shop with a Cop. I will give this to Kelly Schrader, and she will deposit it in your account. So you're $1,000 more richer for your program on Saturday. So
it goes a long way. Thanks, Lieutenant.
Wow. Taylor Funeral Home.
Mm-hmm. Good man.
Yep. With that, we have some of our regulars out in the audience. Thank you guys for being around and participating in our council meetings. It is appreciated. We hoped, as Mrs. Claus said, that, and also Councilmember Seville, be kind to your neighbors, show a little compassion. Somebody might be having a bad day. Somebody might be having a great day. Help them celebrate. Be there for them. And we hope that everybody has a blessed couple of weeks. We won't see you until January. So meeting is adjourned. Be well and be blessed.